I'll share my screen. Please let me know whether you are visible my screen or not. Would you please let me know whether my screen is visible to you or not? Is it visible? Okay. Today is our third day. So tomorrow and day after tomorrow, that is Monday, will be the last session. After that, only paid students will get the link for that. Okay. Just a gentle reminder. And already discussed about this interface session that we can create an interface in this section. We have to use the interface keyword. We have to use the interface keyword to create an interface, and an interface is slightly different from the class because it just contains only constants and method declarations. Okay, that is abstract methods. You can say just an abstract also because the implementation will be done by the class whoever is implementing or extending that interface. Okay. And another differences is that it cannot be instantiated. Okay, interface cannot be instantiated. So the class whoever is implementing that interface, for that only we can instantiate that. Okay, and we can use interface in classes by using the implements keyword. Okay, we have to use the implements keyword in order to implement the interface by the class. And if you want to extend an interface by the other interface, then we have to use the extends keyword. Okay, for example, take here interface car. We are having the two method declarations here, void start and stop. Now, the class whoever is wants to use these methods, then they have to implement this interface. Okay, or else if this Skoda car wants to extend this car interface. This is also Skoda car is also an interface. So it has to use the extends keyword while using this interface. Okay, if Skoda car is a class, then it has to use the keyword here implements. Okay, this is the way how we are declaring an interface. And the next session will be the class definition. Class definition means in this session, we define the class. Means at this session, we are going to define the class. Means we are just creating a class at this level. Okay. And it is a vital part of a Java program. Means what it is plays a main role in the Java program. Without the class, cannot create we cannot do any operations in Java program. So class plays a vital role in the Java program. And without the class, we cannot create any Java program. I told you, right? Without the class, we cannot create any Java program. Okay. And a Java program may contain more than one class definition. Means we can have more than one classes in the Java program. And we have to use the class keyword to define the class. Okay, means what? In order to create any class, we have to use the class keyword. Okay, and the simple definition for this is the class is a blueprint of a Java program. The class is a blueprint of a Java program, and it also contains information about user-defined information. What does it contain? It contains the information about the user-defined methods and variables and constants. Means what type of information we can put in a class means user-defined methods, variables, and constants. Okay. And every Java program has at least one class that contains the main method. Means what we should have at least one class with main method in the Java program. Without a class, without that, we cannot create any Java program because the execution will start from the main method only. So, and that main method should be in the class. So, definitely any Java program should have one class with one main method. Okay, remember this point, it is very important and it is a interview question also. Can we have a Java program without main method? No, we cannot have. Can we have a main method without a class? No, we cannot have a main method without the class. Okay, these types of tricky questions they may ask in an interview. Okay, now an example for this class is, see here, class and the class name. Okay, this is the class name here. And now open parenthesis and close parenthesis. This is one method here, int marks. So this is marks is a method of type integer, open and close parenthesis. If you represent any word with open and close parenthesis, then it is an method and int is a return type of this method. And we'll write the implementation of the statements in this method within this open and close parenthesis. Okay. This is about the class definition. Okay. Now, what are the class variables and constants? Means definitely if you're having class means I told you right, we'll have the user-defined methods, variables and constants. Now, we'll let us know what are the variables and constants in this class. Okay. Normally, we define variables and constants that are to be used later in the program. Means what are the variables and constants we are going to use in the program that we'll discuss now. And in the Java program, what? In the Java program, the variables and constants are defined just after the class definition. Means what? Just after the class definition, we are going to define the variables or constants. Anything will define just after the class definition only, immediately. Okay. And the variables and constants stores values of the parameters. Means, for example, if some method is there in this class and there are some parameters to that method, in order to store the values to that parameters, we are going to use these variables and constants. Okay. And it is used during the execution of the program. When these variables or constants are using means at the time of program execution. Okay. When at the time of execution, we are going to define the program. Okay. And we can also decide and define the scope of the variables by using the modifiers. Means what? Scope means what? What is the accessible of the means? For example, here I have created one variable called string sname. What is the scope of that variable? Scope means what? Means what is the lifetime of this variable? From which to which it is accessible means those are all will be we can define or we can get to know the scope of any variable by the modifiers. We'll having the modifiers in Java. With that, we can able to find the scope of the variables. And it defines the life of the variables. Okay. And the syntax of this is data type and the variable name. Okay. For example, here this is the class. Now this is the string is the data type and sname is the variable. Int is the data type, ID is the variable. Double is a data type, percentage is a variable. And here static final int marks means what? Now it became here constant. Okay. Wait, so here this static final int marks is equal to 55 because we defined here static and final. We cannot change the value of that marks variable. So this become here constant. Okay. This is the way how we are going to define the variables and constants in the Java program. Okay, in the after the class definition. Now the next segment will be in the programming format is main method. We'll write the main method inside the class. So it is essential for all the Java programs to have the main method, because the main execution of all the Java program starts from the main method only. Okay. In other words, we can say that it is an entry point of the class. Okay. Like the entry point for the class is the main method only, and it must be inside the class. Remember this point. Okay. The main method we have to write definitely inside the class. Okay, we have to write inside the class, the main method. Okay. And inside the main method, what we can do, we can able to create objects and we can call the methods. What all the operations we can do in the main method? We will just create an object and we can call the methods of that classes. Okay. Of other classes also we can call the methods in the main method. Okay. And we use the following statements to define the main method. What are those? Means a syntax: public, static, void, main. Okay. I think I already discussed you in the first session what is this public, static, and void and main. Okay. This is the access modifier. This is the static keyword, and void is a return type, means it is returning nothing. And main is the main method. Why we are using here static variable means if you define any static keyword to any variable or method, and it is, first thing is it is constant, and one more thing is no need to create an object. We can call those static methods directly without creating an object. Okay. Without creating an object, we can call the static method. So that is the reason why the main method means this main method you are keeping in our any one class, like user defined class, and we are not creating an object to the class directly. The execution is starting from this main method. So the system will automatically call this static main method. Okay. That is the reason why we defined here static keyword. Okay. Now string socks is the command line arguments. We are able to accept the command line arguments with this string mocks. Okay. And what is an example for this is public class student and then public static void main string mocks. Student SC, we are creating an object of this. Student S is equal to new student, and now S dot marks, because the student will have some method. Think like I have already shown you here, right? See, we are having one method in this student class, that is mark. So we are calling that here S dot marks. Okay. See, we are not calling this main method with this object like S dot main. So we are not calling that directly, the main method will be called. Okay. This is about a small example about this main method in the class. This is completely about this main method in the class of a Java program. Now the next interlink will be about the methods and its behavior. Means what? In this session, we are going to define the functionality of the program by using the methods. Means what? The functionality of the program is mainly depends on the methods, because the method will do the actual work or actual functionality. Okay. You're clear, right? What is this means? Means the work what the Java programming is doing is will mainly depend on this one only, the methods. Okay. So the methods are the set of instructions that we want to perform. The methods are the set of instructions that we want to perform. And these instructions execute at runtime. These instructions will execute at the runtime only and perform the specific task. What does it do? It performs the specific task also. Like for example, public class demo and the main method I am writing here, the display method. Means display method means what? What it is doing? It is just displaying the message that welcome to Logic Labs. Okay, now this display method is showing here welcome to Logic Labs message and closing that method and remaining the statement. See, now here this method is showing the functionality what it is just displaying something to the user. Okay, it is just displaying something to the user. This is about the methods and its behavior. Okay. Now, the next topic, this is completely about the Java programming format. Everything is here is documentation section, package statement, import statement, interface section, and then class definition, main method, and then methods and behavior. This is completely about this programming format of Java. Okay. Now, Java statements. Java statements means what now? Now we all know what are the class, methods, and behaviors and everything. Now we will discuss about this Java statements. Okay. Java statements means what? What all the statements we are going to write in the methods will be included in this Java statements only. And now we'll discuss how many types of statements are there, what are there, and everything. Okay. Statements are roughly equivalent to sentences in natural languages. Means what? It is just we are having the sentences in natural languages. The statements are same in Java. Okay. Like we will know Ramu is a good boy. This is a sentence in natural English language. This like means it is giving some sense to the user that yeah, someone guy called Ramu is a good boy. It is giving some sense. The same way here, statements are equivalent to the sentences in the natural languages. And in general, statements are just like a English sentences that make valid sense. Okay. And now, what is this statement in Java? A statement is an executable instruction that tells the compiler what to perform. What does it mean? In Java, the statement is an executable instruction. Okay. Statement is an executable instructions that tells the compiler what to perform. That tells the compiler what to perform, and it forms a complete command to be executed and can include one or more expressions. It performs a complete command to be executed and can include one or more expressions. Means what? It forms a complete command, means the whole command will be there, what to be executed and what, how many expressions will be included, what to be shown to the user. These are all will be included with this statements only. Okay. Now, how many types of statements are there in Java? There are 3 types of statements in Java. Those are expression statement, declaration statement, and control statement. These 3 are the types of statements in Java. Okay. Now let us discuss what are these expression statements first. Okay. Expression statement means is nothing but an essential building block of any Java program. Means what? It is just like a main block of the Java program. Okay. And it is used to generate a new value. In order to generate a new value, like for example, we'll be having some security codes in the companies, right? Like whenever we are trying to log in any VPN and everything, we'll have one ping ID. So we are going to generate it every time a new value. So like in order to generate a new value, we are going to use this expression state name. And also sometimes we can also assign a value to the variable. Okay. To generate a value, to assign a value to the variable, we are going to use this expression statement. And in Java, expression is the combination of values, variables, operators, and method calls. What are these includes? Values, variables, operators, and method calls. They all will be included in this expression statement. Okay. And there are three types of expressions in Java. What are those? An expression that produce a value, an expression that assign a value, an expression neither produce any result nor assigns a value. Okay. Means what? Actually, see, remember here why I'm not showing practically till now is just the I have shown you the code of 1 to 2. It's now in these statements we are going to show the practical code because statements are the main. So after this, we are having other declaration and mainly we'll discuss each and every code for this control statements. Okay. Don't worry about the coding one because expression statements and declaration statements or we can go by the theoretical because those two will be covered in the control statements. So no need to give a code for this, but in control statements, each and every statement, see if else, if switch, for what, everything will be one code will be there for this. Okay. Now here, expression that produces a values means what? 6 plus 9, 9 more 2, pi into radius plus 2. You're all putting all this together in a parenthesis. Then what does it mean? It is producing some value. This expression is producing some value. Okay. And next, which is assigning a value. Like we are having a variable called number. If number is equal to 90, means we are assigning this 90 value to this number and 3.14 value to this pi. So this is also an expression statement. Okay. And expression that neither produce any result nor assigns a value. Means what? For example, now count plus plus. We have taken one variable count plus plus. Count plus plus means what? Count is equal to count plus 1. This means, okay. Now int sum is equal to a plus b. Okay. Now, while doing this operation in sum is equal to a plus b, the value is changing only for the sum. It is not changing the values of a and b. So it doesn't change the value of the variables a and b do not change. So it is also a side effect. Okay. Because it is changing only the value of the sum variable. A and b is not changing. So it is not increasing or decreasing anything. Means it is not producing any result or not assigning any value to the C and B variables. This is one type of expression statement. Okay. This is completely about the expression statements in 3 types. Now, declaration statement. This is very easy because just we are going to assign some values. First declaring a variable and assigning some values to that. Okay. Assigning a values, we can say the terminology is initializing a value. Okay. First, in declaration statement, we declare variables and constants by specifying their data type and name. Okay. In declaration statement, what we are doing, we declare variables and constants by specifying their data type and name. Okay. And a variable holds a value that is going to use in the Java program. A variable that holds a value that is going to use in the Java program. For example, like int quantity, boolean flag, string message. Okay. These are the declaring a variable just with the data type. These are the data type and the variable name. So we are declaring here a variable. Now of integer type. Quantity is a variable of integer type. Flag is a variable of Boolean type. Message is a variable of the string type. And also we can initialize a value to a variable. We can initialize a value to the variable. How? Like int quantity is equal to 20 means because this quantity is of type integer. So we are going to assign an integer value to this quantity variable. Okay. And next flag. This is a boolean type variable. So we have to assign only a boolean value to this. Okay. Now hello, it is a string variable. So a message is a string variable. So we have to assign a string value to this. Okay. And Java also allows us to declare multiple variables in a single declaration statement. Means in only one line, we can assign a multiple variables. Okay. And note very important point here, all the variables must be of the same data type. Like we cannot do int quantity is equal to 20, comma flag is equal to false, message is equal to hello. We cannot put like this. Just if you have to do means what int quantity, batch number, lot number means quantity is equal to 20, batch number is equal to 50, lot number is equal to 101 like that. We can use only integer values because these are all of type integer. Boolean flag is equal to false, is content is equal to true. See, these two are accepting here only true or false is value because these are of type Boolean. And now here message is equal to hello, message one equal to how are you. These two are accepting string values because these two are of type string value. This is completely about the declaration statement, declaring a variable and assigning a value to it. Okay. Control statements. Control statements. This is the third type of statements. We already have expression statement, declaration statement, and control statements. It is deciding the flow of the Java program. Means what? The order or the sequence of the program or the execution of the statements will mainly depend on this control statements only. Okay. And Java statements are parsed from top to down. Okay, means it is evaluating the expression from the top to down. Therefore, using the control flow statements can interrupt a particular section of a program based on certain condition. Means, for example, if I have written there 10 lines of code and I want to skip to 4 to 7 lines, fourth line to seventh line, then based on the condition. If I put a condition in the fourth line that if the condition is only true, then execute the 5, 6, 7 line, else skip those lines. So we can interrupt a particular section of the program based on the certain condition with the help of these control statements. Okay. Now, what types of control statements are there? Again, these are all categorized into the three types. What are those? Conditional statement, looping statements, and flow control statements. Conditional statements are also known as selection statements or decision-making statements. Okay, conditional statements are also known as selection statements or decision-making statements. Looping statements we can also known as iterative statements. And flow control statements are also known as jump statements. In conditional statements, it is again categorized into the four types. That is if statement, if else statement, if else if statement, and switch statement. Okay. How it is categorized? If statement, if else statement, if else if statement, and switch statement. And looping statements, for loop, while loop, do while loop. These three are mainly, but this for each loop we are going to use in the collections concept. Okay, I'll discuss anyhow, but I'm just saying mostly we'll use this in the collections concept. We'll use like in order to iterate over the objects, we are going to use this for each loop. And next, flow control statements. Flow control or jump statements means what? In order to skip or continue something, we are going to use this flow control or jump statements. What are those flow control and jump statements means? Return, continue, and break. Returns first we'll discuss today about this one. These two we'll discuss in tomorrow's session because it takes much time. And we'll discuss these three now. Tomorrow I'll show you the practically these two because anyhow This continue and break will cover in this switch statement. So just the return we can explain now. So the flow control statements means what means? Just it defines, we can say the jump statements mean we can from one position to one position, we can jump with help of these statements. Return statements means what? Means, for example, see, we are having a method here display, right? If it want to return something, we had to use the small letter only. See, this method is returning the hello. So whoever is calling this method with the help of the object like d dot display, see here, d dot display is the method calling. Now, this method is calling, right? So, whoever is calling this method should have one argument of type string, because this display method is returning this string value. So, the returned value should be accepted by this string value, some string value. So, we are writing the returning statement to jump from one position to another position. So in order to return something from the methods, we are going to use this return statements. Okay, clear? That is about the return statement. Continue statement means what? We will cover these two in the switch statement actually, because continue statement is nothing but just without checking the condition, it will just continue that. And anyhow, I'll give the with the practical example tomorrow for this. If you go theoretical, it won't be much clear. So better we'll go with the practical. Okay. Anyhow, written I have shown you now. Okay. If you want, I will show you the code execution also for this. But no need this much. Okay. But for all this, tomorrow we'll have only programs only. Like the if else, if switch, for while, do, while, for each, continue, break, everything. Okay. This is completely about today's session.